You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Behind America's True Religion, Why Millions Are Quiet Quitting Jesus, based on an article by John Stoller. Trumpism is the religion, Christianity is the pro. The rebel story. The immediate facts are straightforward. Donald Trump posted AI images of himself as Pope and as Jesus, sold signed Trump Bibles, and still kept the loyalty of Christian nationalist and evangelical supporters. The source insists this proves America is not a Christian nation. The sharper point is that the people claiming Christian authority have already surrendered the religion to a political boss, who actually holds power. The power in this story is not with the pews. It is with Trump, the presidency he controls, and the Republican coalition that keeps converting his offenses into factional discipline. He can mock sacred symbols, wrap himself in the Bible, and sell that fraud back to followers as merchandise. That is not theological confusion. It is command politics. The White House response matters too. Rationalization followed desecration, which is the standard pattern when institutions exist to protect the leader, not the truth. The point was never to correct Trump. The point was to absorb the damage and keep the machine moving. Blasphemy as a feature. The source treats Trump's behavior as casual blasphemy, but that phrase is almost too mild. He does not simply offend Christians. He tests how much insult a movement can take when the insult comes from the man carrying its power. Posting himself as Pope, then as Jesus, then selling Bibles as branded objects is a direct humiliation of the faith claimed by his base. And the response was not rupture. It was accommodation. That is the political fact that matters. These are not believers defending doctrine. They are clients defending status. The doctrine nobody means. The essays right to mock their obsession with the Ten Commandments while ignoring the Sermon on the Mount, but even that misses a deeper fraud. The rebel creed here is not Christianity. It is exemption. The rule is simple: demand discipline from everyone else, treat yourself as beyond judgment. That is why the Christian nation claim keeps surviving its own hypocrisy. It is useful as an instrument of authority, not as a description of moral life. The public language is piety. The governing principle is entitlement. Misdirection is the point. The source spends time on whether Americans know enough Christian doctrine. That is a distraction, even if the ignorance is rebel. The issue is not merely that Trump supporters misunderstand their religion. It is that many of them understand exactly what Trump offers: power without accountability, identity without sacrifice, glory without obedience. That is the bargain. Not faith, but performance. Not moral consistency, but permission. When a movement will excuse literal sacrilege so long as it is carried out by its champion, doctrine has become costume. The larger pattern. This is what authoritarian politics does in religious form. It turns sacred language into branding, converts moral standards into weapons for outsiders, and teaches followers to confuse submission with conviction. The leader can violate every rule if the violation reinforces hierarchy. The base is told that humiliation is strength and contradiction is loyalty. So no, the more important conclusion is not simply that America is not a Christian nation. It is that Trumpism has exposed what a large part of the Christian right actually worships: dominance, grievance, and impunity. The religion was never the standard. It was the shield. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternate for today's article. With the automated voice of Arctic, thanks for listening.